Well, welcome everybody. We will sort of officially begin. Thank you for your 11 degrees in Toronto. Wow. I guess it does feel like winter. That was just something in the chat if you guys didn't see that. Just a reminder, our purpose for the practice today and for all of these sessions, and we'll be formally coming to a close at the end of April, and we'll reassess next steps after that. But our presence purpose for these sessions is to establish the practice of presence as a reliable, calming resource for increasing possibilities and joy. Roger, what had you put joy in there? Because that was your word.
What had me put joy in there was maybe a little unusual definition of joy. It's when I can see my whole life unfolding, the good parts and the bad parts and the hard parts and the fun parts. So it's that's what I think this practice can do for us, is have us see everything that's going on and be not so attached to every moment.
Beautiful. Maybe that's a good lesson for today. I heard it said, I was a geography major, so I learned the difference between climate and weather. And I heard it said that joy is like climate, and being happy is like the weather. So I could have a disposition of being joyful and be happy or unhappy.
Right.
It's not affected just by events. So
perfect.
So just as a reminder, this week we were looking at turning towards uncomfortable feelings, and then on Wednesday, we worked on witnessing our experience, why it was so important to be a witness, that we could then have a choice rather than just being reactive. And today we're going to deepen this inquiry. And Roger and I obviously were preparing for this. And I'm really excited. Roger has something, I think, quite profound and simple.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, and this notion of being comfortable with uncomfortable feelings, and we've been working on it all week here, and actually through this whole practice, it's this kind of a gentle approach to kind of turning towards things that maybe we've been avoiding for a long time or avoiding generally. And so the practice today is going to be a sitting practice. You can do it standing up if you choose. I'm going to lead it sitting. And it's going to be around a particular worry or concern. And it'll be a guided meditation with 6 different inquiries. And the best way to do this is to deeply listen to the questions that I ask. And just whatever comes up for you, let it be what comes up for you, and let that be your answer that percolates inside of you. And if nothing comes up, that's fine. And if several things come up, whatever arises for you, and I'll lead us right through that in a sitting practice. So if you would, I'm going to ask you to find base camp, and we'll do that in our chairs. As a reminder, base camp, I like to start with my feet flat on the floor and then work myself up and think, okay, where are my sit bones in my chair? And kind of make that even pressure. And then have my back upright and my shoulders back and down. Then I bring my attention to my breath. Either let my eyes close or at least go soft. The other thing I like to do is have my chin parallel to the ground and maybe let my mouth hang open just a little bit. I don't like my teeth too clenched. It means I'm chewing on something, just to relax. And just bring my attention to my breath. And again, we've kind of found this as base camp, this place of center, place to notice any conditioned tendencies come off of. So just continue to notice your breath for a moment. Sometimes we call this dropping in. Richard often likes to say, feel the effect of a gravity as we're sitting here. So I just really feel myself connected to the chair and my feet to the earth. Noticing my breath. Turning towards uncomfortable feelings can be a process of continuing to deepen and get closer and closer. Like a investigative process on ourselves. More and more connected to ourselves. The first thing I'd like you to do in this little journey now is just to name for yourself a worry or concern that's in your life. Allow that to bubble up. Name it for yourself. This worry or concern will be the subject of the rest of the questions that I'm going to ask you. Continuing to connect with my breath. Now allow yourself to answer the question, how likely is this worry or concern to happen? I like to just give it a percentage of likelihood. And as those answers arise for yourself, just notice anything that changes in yourself and keep bringing your attention back to your breath. For this worry or concern, what can I do about it now? Just trust whatever answers arise or don't. If this worry or concern were to happen, what would I do? Again, whatever answers arise, just trust those as informative. As I'm doing this, I've noticed I've moved a little off center from where I started and just gently bringing myself back to center, still keeping in mind this particular worry or concern. The next question is, when you allow yourself to feel this worry, what sensations do you experience? I like to just scan my body right now and see what I'm noticing when I kind of let this worry or concern inhabit me. Bring attention to anything and just kind of name it internally. final question is, what opportunities might open up? If this warrior concern actually came true, what opportunities might open up? Trusting whatever answers arise for you. I'll now invite you to bring your attention back outside yourself and allow your eyes to open. Thank you. Richard, any experiences that you care to share from that?
Roger, thank you. That really was an invitation to be more intimate with myself, which I find is always a source of my influence. So just saw some of the ways I think and how that creates certain sensations and feelings. And I particularly like that there's not a judgment about this. It's just an inquiry. So instead of being driven by perhaps an unnamed anxiety or something that's underneath, I was able to see something and actually realize, even if the probability for me was about 80%, the thing I could do was still practice being present and centering, because that's going to help me manage that. Because there are certain things in my scenario that are out of my control in how they happen, but how I relate to them. So that was a great gift in doing that exercise.
Thank you for that. What a great recall. What's coming to my mind is just making this really practical. Those questions, I'll often have people take on maybe their top 2 or 3 worries or concerns and write down answers to that and experience it much the way we just did it. So that's an invitation if this was valuable at all.
Great. One of the ways that we want to keep experimenting with this practice is that it's deep, it can be quiet, but it can also be a bit of an energizer. So we want to do something just to, if you don't mind writing what your experience was in the exercise that Roger took us through, that would be great, just to get feedback and also for you to see and put it into words. And while you're not doing that, we'll just do a little simple exercise. I'm going to stand to do this. You don't have to stand, but we'll just start patting the arm up and then patting down the other side, patting this arm up, patting, and do that several times on each arm to shift the energy from being more internally oriented to prepare us for whatever it is we might be doing next. And then you can't necessarily see me, but I'm doing this to my legs as well. So I'm just patting my legs up and down, and I'm patting my legs up and down, up and down. I'm going to pat my belly and I'll make the sound. And if I were standing, I'm just going to bounce a little, loosen it up, and notice how that shifted things for you. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. Please, if you have any questions, let us know. But thank you, Roger, and thank you, everybody. It's truly a blessing to meet this way. So,
thanks, Richard.